Hi. This week I wanted to talk about trust. Probably not for the first time and certainly not for the last time. But it's sort of reared its head again as I reflected on all the things that I talked about and wrote about and worked with organisations on over the last year. And whether you're talking about high-performing teams or leadership or capability for leading hybrid teams or adaptability, resilience in the workforce, it all comes down to one thing. And if you don't have the foundation of trust, you might as well pack up your bags and go home. If there's no trust between employees and there's no trust between leaders and employees and vice versa, then basically you're doomed. Everything else you do is just being built on sand. You need a solid foundation, a solid bedrock of trust in the organisation. And this has been talked about for decades. It's nothing new about how trust is the core of the success of the organisation. But it's sort of come into real importance again. Well, it's always important. But in 2022, as we enter 2022, we're still now talking about the Great Resignation, the Great Imagination, the Great Realisation, the Great Reset, whatever you want to call it, where people have had time to reflect, the Great Reflection, on what they want from life and work. And they expect more from their employer than ever before. And they're in the driving seat because they can work from anywhere, most people, many people. So they can choose from employer. And there's a supply issue of good talent. So organisations are fighting for the same talent. And unless the organisation has trust, people will walk because they expect more. And the pandemic has had some serious impacts on the level of trust in organisations, and we've seen the gap widen as a result. And I want to talk about some of the impacts that the pandemic has had on trust this week. And next week I want to explore some of the ways you can rebuild that trust if need be. But we know that trust is key to employee collaboration, good communication, problem solving, creativity, innovation, productivity, profitability, you name it. Everything you talk about, psychological safety at the core is trust. And I like the definition that Dr. Toby Travis put in his book, Trust Ed, The Bridge to School Improvement. And he describes trust as a bridge. And the question is, if it is a bridge, why are employees no longer crossing it? And I just want to read the quote from his book. Trust is like a bridge. If we perceive a well-maintained bridge, we may not consciously consider potential instability during our morning commute. But if the bridge develops potholes and has frequent lane closures due to repairs, we may no longer trust it as we once did. And that's what is happening in the organisations. The potholes are emerging. The lane closures are happening. The repairs are taking place. And there is no longer stability in that bridge of trust. And employees will not cross it. We have to re-establish and rebuild. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.